Okay, good afternoon. Um, Good morning, and let me also say good evening to some of us. Excuse me. I remember the Chika Austin, and of course, um, I want to. I want us to discuss as a people, talk us as a people. The essence of this is that, like, I do believe whatever people are doing and they deny themselves the consciousness of reviewing themselves, reviewing their strategy, reviewing their success, also reviewing their losses. Invariably, those people are going to have a serious problem achieving the project they have at hand. And let me believe I'm coming out loud and clear. Let me believe both visual and audio are really coming out. If they are coming out, then we have to proceed. Very, very important. So we have a couple of things to talk about. But while I'm waiting for confirmation of how clear I'm coming out, let me just build a foundation. Whatever people, okay, thank you, Declan. Whatever people are doing, very, very important you share this program so that I can reach many people. Whatever people are doing and they deny themselves the culture of reviewing their losses, their winnings, invariably is going to be an impediment, a great one, to their survival. Whatever people are doing and they destructively convince themselves that they cannot review the success and the losses on the project they have. It is a technical way to say they are on the path of destruction. Just like the way it is in the business circuit. At the end of the year, just the way the year is about closing up, every business is expected to, do an end of the year balance sheet, check the profits, the annual profit, check the annual losses. They can't just say, oh, let us continue, let us not mind, let us be moving ahead. Such slogan only happens in a midst of people who are either ignorant or who voluntarily and consciously decide to deceive themselves. If you don't review, it will be difficult for you to know where to make corrections. when necessary. Anybody who comes up and says, oh, never mind, let us be moving head, lacks knowledge of sources. Is a replicant representation of what failure is. And that is why there are certain postulations I hear some of us pushing. I sit and I laugh. Like when we try to say this happened because of this was not done, or this happened because this was done. And some people say it's a blame game. Do you even understand the definition of blame game? Do you even understand what blame game is? Oh, don't say about it. You know, oh, let us just move. Don't blame. It's not blame game. It is called strategic review. You must review. Because if it is this attitude of, oh, don't say it. We don't. It's not worthy to say. That is a blame game and all this that got us where we are today, because we have been somehow, should I say, we have been so careless, extremely careless when it comes to using every available information resources at our disposal. We have been so self-destroying when it comes to that, including high sensitive intelligence gathering. Some people say, no, wave it off. Let's do the common one we know. And it will keep on posing a threat to us. Because it is only a fool. Listen very carefully. It is only a fool that wants to dictate to his opponent how and what he or she will use in fighting him. I repeat, when two persons are fighting and one party is expecting to decide how his opponent will fight him, the tools he will deploy, the tactics he will deploy, such a person is stupid. Just the way you will not expect your opponent to decide what you will use to fight him. You do not have the power to decide the modus operandi, the equipment choice that your opponent will use in fighting you. So if you understand this very fact, then you should not downplay every available information that is geared towards you building a healthy defense lines. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because we have carelessly downplayed on certain information and they are today telling on us. And that is the beauty of reality. The beauty of life and the beauty of reality is that whatever you neglect, whatever you downplay that you ought to have worked with, you will live to see the consequences of it. That is just how life is designed. I will give you a clear instance from, biblical reference. There was a time David is said, based on Christian literature, to be a man after God's own heart. I want you to learn something. He was so much loved by God that a particular description was given to his place in the mind of God, that he is a man after God's own heart. But do you know, somehow David felt that he has divine immunity and went and killed a man because he was eyeing the wife of that man. This is a man after God's own heart. He killed the man because he needed the man's wife. Do you know what? God said, yes, you're a man after my own heart. I so much cherish you, but the sword can never depart from your house. The sword, that sword, can never depart from your lineage, from your family. What that teaches is that no matter what you think you are, no matter what I take myself to, if I neglect certain principles of life, I am bound to suffer the consequences. It doesn't matter. That is how life works. That's why serious people, yes, you hear the Hittite. Thank you, Chris Oji. That's why serious people in life are over careful. No matter the accolades, no matter the financial exposure, no matter the praises and all this, they are always careful with what they do, with what they say. Because life is designed in a way that cause and effect, actions and effects. That is how life is designed. So what am I trying to say? Some of us message me, some of us also call me, I also read some of our comments. And I can also understand that majority of us have not even understand what we are into. Majority of us still believe that the struggle for self-determination is a game of chicken-hearted fellows. Majority of us. I understand that might partly be as a result of the foundational teachings. And of course, when I talk about foundational teachings, every one of us was exposed to foundational teachings as well as the struggle for self-determination is concerned. But sometimes when I hear some of us, our views, which I respect so much, because our views are sacrosanct to us. They are all highly respected by me. But let us put it in context. What we are fighting is a self-determination to get out of a system that is destroying. The honest truth is that Nigeria is killing everybody, whether Biafrans, the Arewas, the Oduduwas. Nigeria, the configuration of Nigeria is meant to destroy the indigenous blacks. That is how British configured it. Others might say, we are comfortable with the gallows tying of our neck. That is their business. That is their choice. But we, the Biafran people, say, no, we are not comfortable with the gallows tying. No. We are not comfortable with the system that is designed to destroy the indigenous people. We are not comfortable with a country that is configured in a way that the non-indigenous can come from Mali, Sierra Leone, Sahel, come in and slaughter the indigenous. And somebody will be saying that even these foreigners, invading foreigners, should even be granted amnesty. We say, no, we are not interested to be in such a system. We are reactive to a hostile system. The Yoruba man might say, he's okay with that. That is the opinion. The Hausa man might say he's okay with that, with such system. That is opinion. But the question further remains. We that said, we are not interested to stay in such configuration. The question remains. How mentally tough are we in pressing home our demand? How mentally tough? That is one. Two, what is the level of integrity at our disposal, that is at our disposal to attract support? One is mental toughness, another thing is integrity, which is an asset. These are the two things I would want us to reminiscent on. These two. The place of mental tough, the place of integrity. Mental tough in the sense that while others are not interested to exit, like the do one that otherwise, the killers, we cherish them. The designers of the system, we cherish them. You that say no, you are scared to remain in such configuration. The designer will come after you. The killers will come after you. The oppressors will come after you. And this is where they will deploy every mechanized, highly mechanized system against you. They will deploy advanced mental manipulation against you. They will go into hybrid psychological science to see how to undermine you. And that's exactly the battle we are in. That is the battle we are in. We're talking about mental toughness and integrity because the Biafran Project requires this. Now we have gotten to a point, a few years ago, as far back as 2021, those in the leadership warned. And let me say this. You see, this is our attitude of if no one tells you the source of his information, it's not worthy to be used. You see that mentality, because we have that mentality. You see that mentality, it's destructive to us. Leadership have been raising this alarm that ordinarily there is nothing at the disposal of the Nigerian government to jail as Nnamdi Kanu. Absolutely nothing. There was absolutely nothing, because you can't jail somebody because of transmitter. You cannot say that because somebody bought a transmitter is a terrorist. The law does not recognize such submission. The law does not recognize such submission. There has not been any time anybody could say he saw Mazen Nnamdi Kanu holding assault rifle. It has never happened. There has never been any time anybody can say, oh, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we saw him in Lagos destroying any people's property. And incitement is not even an act of terrorism. Even though they say he incited people, incitement is not even act of terrorism. So what did the federal government do? The federal government had to do the reason why you must analyze the move. You see, when we advance, let me tell you something. And that's why we have to be reasoning like warriors. You don't reason like people who have gotten a trophy. You must reason like warriors. So when you win, any success we make, federal government analyzes it. They analyze, how did these people were able to strike? How were they able to achieve this international recognition? How were they able to do this? That is what federal government does. In same vein, whenever federal government seem to have achieved a certain winning against us, it is our responsibility to analyze that they were able to do this because they did this. So that in the near future, such a thing, because it's only a Titus you understand that you can never allow Israel occurrence. But when you say, no, you no need of talking about how they did what they did, you are ignorant. They will still play the same card tomorrow and you fall victim. Do you know that, for instance, when an incident happens in a place, you see investigators, they will barricade that place to collect samples. Those things you see them picking on the floor, they are evidences to establish facts. They pick those samples and start analyzing it. Oh, this vehicle, some assaulted because this is where he had a deflated tire. And at this point, he was at 150 speedometer. And the driver had to match the brake. And that is what caused this one assaulting. All those things are analysis made to unravel why there was a damage or danger. So in our own case, we should also have that attitude, that mentality of when things happen, let us ask why, how, when, who. These W's are very, very important to a people who know where they are going. It's only morons that things will happen to. They say, let's move on. Nobody wants to objectively analyze the causes, who is responsible, who did what. Very, very important. So when federal government took hold of Nnamdi Kanu, we were talking about here mental toughness and integrity. Very, very important. When they took over Nnamdi Kanu, they had nothing to convince him of. Buhari wanted to conclude the issue of his conviction. Not even Tinubu would have not even met Nnamdi Kanu, as in the legal process. Buhari was resolved to do that. Buhari wanted to conclude everything. Let him make a hero of himself. That before the expiration of Buhari term, Nnamdi Kanu was convicted. But two factors delayed that. One, there were no evidences or evidence to lay hold and convict him. Two, there were strong legal position that you cannot just talk down on or describe anyhow you want. They are renowned legal scholars. So their presence also delayed a lot of things. So what the federal government did, they have to understand two things. That two things are posing a threat from us from convicting this guy. One is the issue of no evidence. Two is the issue of strong legal team. Federal government have to be working on these two factors. On no evidence, they have to bring the issue of autopilots on the circle. And we started telling you people about polarization, the danger of polarization. Of course, to some people, described it as jealousy. Some people describe, oh, you're dozai, you're not inakumbamba. These are some of the languages that some of us use. Yes. Anakumbamba. You are not doing it, you are not hitting the land enough because you are short-sighted. Some of us are short-sighted, as a matter of fact. And they knew there is no how they could, get those rampaging boys on ground without looking for a synergy. Even though somebody is stealing in the name of Nnamdi Kanu, that is not enough to link it to Nnamdi Kanu. If somebody kills in the name of Nnamdi Kanu, or somebody kills in my name, somebody I don't know, I believe, I'm not a lawyer, but I believe there is no how you can say because somebody was killing and was shouting Chika Austin that I'm complicit to that. No, you cannot say that. There must be established ground that I commanded for that. So what they now did was they understood that not just enough to have these boys rampaging. Some call themselves Muhammad, some call themselves all manners of name running kidnapping. That is not enough to just have these guys on ground. Another thing they have to do is to look for a way to connect it to Nnamdi Kanu. And they know that the legal team of that time can never accept such connectivity. You understand me? They know that the legal team of that time cannot accept that connectivity because they understand the future, they understand the matrix, they understand where the government wants to. What do? They find a way, blackmail them, and get them out of the way. And strategically position a bunch of collaborators who will do everything to link activities of those boys to Nnamdi Kanu. And some came on national television. Alloy Ejimakor came on national television saying that those boys who are called autopilots, they are Nnamdi Kanu's boys. He even told Nnamdi Kanu to write to Simon Ekpa, which ought not to have happened. Because you write to somebody you have understanding with. He also declassified his discussion between him and Simon Ekpa, interfacing, telling him that I have told him about you. All those nonsense we are strongly linking up just to tie this man down. And today, everyone that visit Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto, he always says it. He says it to the hearing of anyone that cares to me. He said, look, they journey with what Simon Ekpa cost. You know, why we are saying this is this. The journey we are into, anybody, if you do not understand where the rest started from, you won't know where it will end. Forget some of these idiots who will tell you, don't say this is a blame game. Are you mad? One thing I learned as a historian while studying history in the university, one thing I learned in history is what we call causation in history. Causation in history. Every historian, every trained historian believes that there is no historical act that is not caused by antecedent. That is just what it is. Because if we do not let us understand all these things, we will still be fooled. You know, many are again. That is what it is. If we do not understand the tactics, how government operates, we will keep on fooling ourselves. So they strongly use these guys to establish the bond. That got them into where we are today. And the saddest thing is that all these things never happen without leadership. And I want to tell you this emphatically. All these things never happen without leadership. The question you should ask yourself, how did they end? For your information, when they ban this sympathetic with the non-WOG, non-DSS, non-army, enwekwe ndị ebe anyị even na-arụ ọrụ n'ime asọrọ ndị a dị sympathetic, not ọwụrụ ndị niile politician n'ala anyị they against the struggle. And these people time in time ha na-agbakwa the leadership nekwa ebe ihe a na-aga meenụ nke. But for the fact that you have people, at a time, most of you never understood what happened. At a time, the lawyers were meeting Nnamdi Kanu in group, Ejiofor, Ejimakor, and others. So each time they want to see Nnamdi, all of them, at a time, the DSS said, no, people should not be seeing him in group, be seeing him differently. Do you know why? When Ejiofor come and tell us that this thing is dangerous, this thing is going to be a very dangerous part you're going to do it. If he leaves, Alloy comes in and water down, destroy that sensitive information. And of course, whether you like it or not, Nnamdi Kanu is a human being. Every human being is fallible. It's only the creator of the universe that owns that infallibility status. Every other human being. Let that sink in us. So at the time the DSS make sure that joint briefing was stopped. So that when this one come and briefs what is right, what is healthy, what is going to help, another one will come and water it down. When a Ejiofor come and says what Simon Ekpa is doing has nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu, he goes to Nnamdi Kanu and tells him that look at what is happening. We are getting intelligence, a strong intelligence, but what these guys are going to do is a build-up. There's what we call build-up. When government wants to destroy a man, it might take them 3 years to keep on building up something. When Ejiofor tells him, this one he turns back after speaking with Simon Ekpa, he goes in and tells him that forget Ejiofor. It is Simon that is giving them pressure. With what Simon is doing, they will ask you to go the next day. So possibly Ziemozi comes here Simon. And trust. He was establishing the strong bond. And some people will say, oh, when you say this is a blame, are you mad? Are you sick? Do you even understand the high stake of this struggle? We're talking about a struggle that people have staked a lot. Do you understand what we're talking about? So, and of course, they had their way. They have their way. And you must understand something. The reason why I decided to come today is not all about them having their way. Not all of them, not all about the life sentence on Nnamdi Kanu. As a matter of fact, a lot of things were wrongly applied. And I see the same mistake ongoing. I see the same mistake advancing. You know, when we all go on our okay, let me leave that. So these are things we must understand. Because when I finish, most of us will always say, what is the way forward? What is the way? There will definitely be a way forward. But the reason why we must understand all these things is because there is no way forward that the enemy cannot also attack. So, for those of you who are shouting, what is the way forward? What is the forward? If you don't even know what has happened with the current status you are, Yeah, you don't want to know, you don't care, and you're shouting way forward. Even that your way forward can be undermined, can be destroyed. That's why every advanced country, when they go to one combat, they review the operation. Where did you get it right? Where did you get it wrong? That is what made them an advanced country. They advance on the ground that they have that sincerities among themselves to say to themselves, let us review, even though we have a winning, let us see things we did that got us winning. If we had losses, let us see why we had losses. Very, very important. Because if we do not understand, even the way forward can still be undermined. The way forward can still be destroyed. So for those of you talking about way forward, don't be much crazy with way forward. Be more crazy with why, how did we get to where we are today? Because I do say it, time without number, that if we do not remove emotions and sentiments, we'll just be played upon. I read people say, oh, Biafra is a business of emotion and all this. When critics criticize constructively, I agree with them. When someone also criticizes destructively, I disagree. Personally, myself, is my view, I don't see any reason why any reasonable person should be thinking of continuation of Nigeria that kills every day people. And it's a country that anything you are going to do to stop the killing must be undermined by the system. So what is the justification of being in such society? What is the justification? Very, very important. So, what am I trying to say? That is where we are today. They have convicted Nnamdi Kanu for life, and you see where they kept him far away Sokoto. Now, it is for you and I to tell ourselves the truth that nobody can tell us. Nnamdi Kanu currently, you see, scholars have been given a lot of theories and postulation. But let us look at these theories and postulation. Some people have said when Nnamdi Kanu should go for an appeal, that appeal will revise it. Now, another people have said, even though he wants to go to appeal, let him make sure he has different legal team composition. One, let him also make sure that he has gathered a lot of hands that will activate the political process. That is second postulation. Now, the third postulation, listen. Some people have said he is unjustly convicted and that the world should, look at the place of morality. Now, for those of them who are saying approach appeal, that appeal won't turn it, are not arguing whether with current legal team or not, that he should just go. Then others are saying, let him first of all work on the legal team before approaching the appellant court, and also look at having a political process team composition. Then before that, you see, one thing we must understand is this. This is a game. The whole thing you're saying is a game. And because it's a game, one who thinks higher than his opponents tend to, it's just like a chess. One who thinks higher than his opponent tend to control the winning. Why did I say it's a game? It's a game in the sense that whether you like it as a supporter of Nnamdi Kanu or as a hater of his, whether you like it, his conviction is a politically motivated one. His release will also follow a political process. No two ways about it. It doesn't matter the divide you find yourself, whether lovers of Onyendu or haters of his. He was convicted through political interest. His release is also going to go to that process. And why did government make sure they got him to where he is today? You see, when the previous legal team got him winning in the IP court, and when those guys got that winning, they said they are not interested in going further to any court. They knew that that winning was a costly winning. And let me tell you, all the judges who gave that winning in favor of Nnamdi Kanu in the appellate court, all of them were dealt with by Buhari's led government. Some of them were even sent to Bronu, some were sent to Enugu, some were scattered for ever giving a winning against the government. They paid for that. That is to tell you how costly that winning was. It wasn't a winning that was gotten without a price. They served justice and met injustice. The judges served justice and met injustice. A brutal war. Most of them were forced to even leave before their retirement time. Why? Because that very winning got Nnamdi Kanu on an advantageous position to negotiate. If he was to negotiate, he was not going to negotiate as a loser, but as a winner. And that is what the federal government and her handlers would not want. Because at that very moment, he won in appellate court. He has an advantage. He's coming to the negotiation table as almost an equal partner. So, what government did was to make sure that those who got him that winning were kicked out. Because they got him that winning and they said to him, maintain this ground, don't shift an inch. Don't make an inch. Don't shift. If you shift, you can't win them and win them again. It's practically impossible. And those guys were removed and content creators were brought in who told him continue. In fact, they started carrying the rumor that Mommy Binta we give justice in favor. They said continue. Because they want to rubbish. The government wants to rubbish the fertile ground Nnamdi Kanu was standing. They want to rubbish that ground. And the ground they have succeeded in getting him is a ground that what Onyendu can be talking now is getting out of that place through state pardon. Yes. Because the appellate court might not risk what the previous judges risk. Forget the noise these content creators are making. Forget the noise they are making. So government strategically pushed the situation where he can only be negotiating for his release, and that can only come through state pardon. And state pardon also have something you must forfeit. When it was extended to Ojukwu in 1990s, Ojukwu forfeited mentioning Biafra. He forfeited it. Go and study history. History is very, very important to you. History is very, very important. Ojukwu forfeited calling Biafra. Though he supported Wazirike technically, but for him himself to now open his mouth and talk about Biafra, it was an aberration. Never. Though technically he gave credence to Wazirike. So, state pardon retired Ojukwu from the Biafran project. This is a bitter truth we must open our mind to know. Because so many of us like useless sweet stories, which is going to only give you a temporary relief. You face reality. Yes. Because the politicians who are going to negotiate, who are going to interface between the federal government and Nnamdi Kanu, you see, all these things you see them taking him to Sokoto, all those things are part of the pressure. You have been sentenced for life. You are in faraway Sokoto. Sentence for life means if he's going to stay in another 50 years, he's going to remain there. Yes. So psychologically, they have put him in a way that one day he will say, okay, what are we going to do to end all these things? One day he's a human being. As he's not going to be getting younger, he's going to be aging. They put him in Sokoto to make him think that home is far. Forget the fellows who are snapping pictures on the street of Sokoto. They do not, what do they understand? What do they understand? They are just comfortable and they're happy with the money. Probably people are giving them out of sympathy. Do they know the psychological state of mind of the person who is inside? They don't know. They don't know how, do they know how his mind is already, what he's battling in his mind? But they put him in a way that even though it's okay, let me pass through life sentence. Oh, but it's risky for my son to come to Sokoto. It's risky for my wife to come to Sokoto. Even though they come, are they going to stay in Sokoto for 1 month? So they put him, forget all those guys, acting like children on snapping picture and twerking. When a man inside is the one, even fire is burning in his mind. Fire is burning in his head. And that's exactly what these guys want. Yeah. Because everything to them is just content. Everything to them is entertainment. Everything to them is a joke. So, that is where the government has put him. In a ground where he will not be talking of pardon. But the issues that we need to ask ourselves here is, because this is a reality, you cannot rule it out. The likes of Prince Darlington and all the rest of them, all these morons who do not even understand anything, I think all of them have gone to sleep because they thought it is a business of entertainment. It's not entertainment spirit. It's not entertainment business. They were busy talking nonsense. Onyendu will come out next court sitting. Onyendu just making the people not to be asking a question. Like, if Onyindu is convicted, what next can we do? These are questions that human. So they destroy the people and make sure that people do not have the capacity to start making what we call contingency plan. If Onyindu is restricted, these are questions people are asking. Peradventure, they decide to convince him. Are we going to crash? Are we going to stop? But because of these boys who do not even understand anything, oh, he's coming soon, or whatever he says, if he come out, they are just busy working on your mind than playing the seriousness of the matter. And today, where are they? Just tell me, where are they? And you too, they gave enough entertainment. Where are you? Because you felt your heart is broken. You were disappointed. Without you understanding that this journey is a rational journey. It's a journey you must tell yourself to. The ANC in South Africa, when they took Nelson Mandela and gave him 25 years, the ANC was moving. They were moving on. Do you know why they moved on? And they successfully had what they were pushing, because they told themselves the truth that we are denying to tell ourselves truth today. What is that truth? Oh, what if something happens to Nelson Mandela? They say, oh, if anything happens to Nelson Mandela, we have a movement. We have a structure to move on. And it was that conviction that made Britain to make a revised policy. Yes, it was that position of ANC in South Africa when they resolved that it doesn't matter what you people do with Mandela. If you want to eat him. They moved on demanding what they're asking. When the oppressors noticed that holding Mandela did not stop anything, they released him. For so many of you who are still, having this useless mindset, some of you are so disgusting to a point that say, oh, when Onyendu comes out, that's when I will start supporting. You don't even know what you're fighting in the first. Some we are programming your mind. Onyendu will come out tomorrow. In fact, as a matter of some, we're even foolishly told, oh, be fighting the leadership. Fighting them. When Onyendu come out in the North Court city, he's going to come out. When he comes out, he will make you the coordinator. He will make you in charge of the media. He will make you the spokesperson. And you see them uselessly acting the way they were acting. Because they are very myopic. They are very dumb. They don't understand. They think this journey is just a journey of popularity and know me. I'm telling you. Because you do not understand. You think it's a journey of popularity. It's not. It's not. Anybody here, you want to be popular, you want to be known, or you are here for money purpose, I have no respect for you. Because you have no conviction of what you're fighting for. You absolutely do not have it. So that is exactly where they have taken us in. And of course, some of you have retired because you do not even know what you're fighting for in the first place. Some of you have said, oh, I know they do it. Because you are mentally docile. You have no mental toughness. In fact, you are a flight risk for this journey. I must tell you that. I tell you. You're a flight risk. Because you are not even convinced of what you are pursuing. And I say it, and I reiterate it. You have no conviction of what you're pursuing. Because if you do, you will understand at the back of your mind that these are the things we must face in this journey. It's not a journey of joke. So now he has been convicted on life sentence. Most of you do not understand. The enemy has stepped up the war. You know, those days, I want to tell you something. Those days, when government kill somebody, for instance, if government say, okay, you are giving 200-year sentence, I want to give instance, and the person dies after spending 50 years. Do you know what government does? Government still chain the body until 200 years. I don't know if you have heard that story. When they say, oh, this person was convicted to be jailed for 200 years. You know, the person dies after 50 years. And the government also changed the remains of that person. There's a reason why I said this. Why I said is that when government wants to destroy a man, even life sentence is not the final destruction. Put your ears down. Put your ears down so that you understand what we're talking about. You see, the Nnamdi Kanu is convicted based on their abracadabra court process. The government is not yet relaxed. They have not even achieved anything yet. The government understand. Listen, and I pray you share this program. The government understands that even the convicting of Nnamdi Kanu can turn him a hero because he's a political prisoner. You should understand that we can make hero of him. We can make hero out of him. Do you know what the government have deployed? Do you know the campaign they have started? They have now started to even criminalize him, even while in detention. This is a man that is already convicted, but the government is afraid that he can still be turned to be a hero. After all, Nelson Mandela became a hero when they convicted him. It's from his conviction that the heroism in him emerged. And they know that Nnamdi Kanu might also be transformed to be a hero, from a villain in their eyes to a hero to the world. And what are they doing now? Watch every known blogger, including the ones you even previously trusted. They are now coming to say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu destroyed Igbo land. Nnamdi Kanu did this. Nnamdi Kanu did that. Why are they doing that? They want to make sure that the reason at which he was convicted, the lies, the falsehood, is consolidated. But do you know what? Majority of us are still naive, not to understand that we still have a fight to do. He's already convicted. They are still trying to convince your poor mind and the mind of ordinary people that his conviction was justified. That is the job government is doing, so that he cannot be a hero in the eyes of people. Do you understand me? And most of us do not even understand all these things. So that is why you should understand that the battle is still on. That Nnamdi Kanu is convicted for 500 years. He's convicted for billions of years. Does not mean he will even spend up to. 2 years in facility. I want to tell you things most of you do not know. Does not mean he can even spend up to 3 years. All depends the wisdom you apply. Global pressure can change the whole thing overnight. Strategic marketing of overnight. And that is where ideal information management comes in. Very, very. Mazi, you're welcome joining us.
Mazi, thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
So,
yes, so you've had the angle at which we are discussing. The essence of us being strategic in what we are doing, because we have misfired a lot as a result of distractions by ourselves. And like I said earlier, nature abhors vacuum. Where foolishness thrives, there must be a foolish result. Where wisdom thrives, there must be a wise result. So I don't know if you have anything to say to that.
Yeah, Mazi, it's quite interesting this program this afternoon. Like you always do, I always analyze things, even on writing as well. Try to explain to our people, tell them the danger ahead. But I wrote, even when I was dressing to go to work, I wrote to your comment section. You can see them even attacking you on your comment section, telling you how many people Nnamdi Kanu have slaughtered in Biafraland, telling you how, yes. So this is their pattern, this is their system. Who is telling you this thing now? Ask him to bring one single evidence. You will see nothing he will provide. He will only provide only you are stupid, you are idiot, who are you? That is the only thing they know how to provide. So, Chika Austin, you have said it all this legal team and the Onion Mazin and the Kanu siblings, you know, people think this thing is a joke. And you know why? For me, I'm thinking these people want Mazin and the Kanu to be there. Because immediately that man come out, they have a lot of questions to answer. So you don't see anybody you sentence to imprisonment. You go to Sokoto, you snap picture, you ask even on camera, are you making video? You do anyhow. And most of us here haven't eaten. Some have high blood pressure since the announcement of that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu conviction. Some of people that is calling up to today. So, like you said, our people will come and tell you what is the way forward. Those people always say what is the way forward. Is the cabals of siblings of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. I think when they will come to leadership and say, go and protest, Mazi, I'm asking this question always. Where is all these people supporting, attacking you here now? But at least organize their own and lay their voice but through protest. Where are all of them? But they will come to your comment section to attack you, to maybe to distract you, to make sure you don't focus on what you are teaching or what you are telling our people. So, Mazi, it's very, very, I don't know how I will put it. Like yesterday, we are listening to Mazi Chinasa's old broadcast where he was trying to explain to one of their agents. I don't know if you listened to that broadcast yesterday.
No.
I refreshed my mind again. That guy that called from Canada. There is nothing you can tell your enemy, whether truth or good, Master Chika Austin, it will get into his score. It's not possible. Because you know why? That hatred is there already. The hatred is there already. There is nothing in this life you can preach or try to convince your enemy he or she will understand. Are they possible? It's like us now, Christians, going to convince Muslims to join us in Christianity. Mazi, I don't know if it will be possible.
It's
Mazi,
possible.
take
It's
us.
very difficult to.
So That is what we are facing in this IPOB. Let me give an example so that I will still leave you to continue. Like our brother Keke, that some people said, no, don't attack him, don't deny. Mazi, that is how he starts. It starts gradually, gradually. See all those our Niger Delta brothers. Even Delta here, Delta here. That is how it started. Denying the identity gradually, gradually, gradually. If somebody like that boldly denying his identity, why a Yoruba man is fully involved, trying to know about the Biafra, calling that Biafra without fear or favor. You now, as a Biafra man, which your generation died into that war, you refuse not even to talk. Nobody tell you to come and tell them that we are. Let me tell them one thing. There is two things different. There is IPOB and there is Biafra. Eh? So if you are talking about Biafra, I don't think it's something the government will come after you. Dumeja have been talking about it. Most of them. So who is him for him not even to address his where he's coming from? Just for a minute. He denied it in total, and you see our people, they will come and tell you, don't blame him. No, Mazi, they are very foolish. Oha. Those men are very, very foolish. Because of personal interest, you don't want to address what is going on. This kind of person now, if the Nigerian government asks him now to attack or talk evil against Nnamdi Kanu, he will do that immediately. You know why? Because he's afraid already. So, Mazi, continue this wonderful program. I really want to appreciate you on that and learn my voice so that you will continue. And then we're watching it.
Thank you for that your time, and I frankly appreciate you coming. That is an amazing one. So these are the things we are saying. I wouldn't want this program to we've done an hour and 7 minutes. That is quite impressive. So what we'll do is that I will continue in next session, because I wouldn't want it to be a lengthy one, so that people will take time to listen. So what is most important here is for us to understand, very, very important, that the decision of the state is not the end of this journey. Because I wanted to have talked about, we just talked about tough mindset. I wanted to also talk about integrity, because it's also important. But we are going to talk about that in next time we come online. So from here, I want to say, have an amazing weekend. Do enjoy your Sunday.